Hello everyone, it's me, the Plugin Rat again, here to spread the good word about how broken plugins can be. And in today's context, it'll be all about Tombs of Amascut. I'll be breaking it down path by path, so if there's a specific room you want to look at, you can refer to the timestamps in the description. So for the plugins that we're going to be touching on that are already built in, I'm going to be looking at NPC Indicators, Menu Entry Swapper, Ground Markers, and Object Markers. And now, for plugins you can get on the hub, we've got Custom Swapper by Geheur, Tombs of Amascut by LlemonDuck, Better NPC Highlight by Buchus, Radius Markers by Skretzo, TOA Puzzle Helper by Tim, Monster HP Percentage by Jeffe, and that's about it. We've also got NPC ID by XRio, which is optional if you want to find more NPC IDs outside of what is shown in the video. Now, most of these will be plugins that I've spoken about before, so if you like what you see here and want to maybe find more Useful PvM plugins, I have a link to a playlist in the description with my other Useful PvM plugin videos, so give that a look. Now, let's start with the lobby or just general use plugins. Do you hate having to remember what presets you have for maybe running different challenges or going with different friends with varying skill levels? Well, in the Tombs of Amascut plugin, you can save, screenshot, or even export presets. How it works is when you save it, it will highlight in green the presets you want to have on, and have it in red for the ones you don't want to have on. This makes swapping between different info presets not as much of a hassle. Also, I know in the recent Q&A, Jaggers has also stated they want to do something about it, but for now, this is what we got. Next, you can also change the left click of the supply pouch and even the shift click. I like to have my left click set to withdraw all, and my shift click to resupply, which tops off all my supplies. Lastly, the Tombs of Amascut plugin will have a swap for the Phantom, letting you quick exit after completing a path. Now let's talk about the Path of Het. The mirrors you can pick up will always spawn in the same spots, so for convenience you can tile mark the locations where you see them. In the puzzle room, the Tombs of Amascut plugin auto swaps the withdraw and deposit option for the pickaxe storage whenever you grab your stored pickaxe. So, you can left click it again to restore it. The default menu swapper or custom swapper gives you the option to set the mirror swap to rotate clockwise or even counterclockwise whenever you hold shift. Makes it easier for rotating the mirror. Up next is the big boss man Akkha. You can mark the tiles in the middle just to know the tiles you can run to for Simon Says, and each of these tiles you can still blow pop the shadows from. You can also import tiles too for methods such as the butterfly method. Shout out to Saxpillar for creating this method. I'll link down in the description if you want to learn more about it. You can also utilize radius markers to have it show a particular tile color whenever he swaps tiles, which makes it so much easier than staring at his prey or waiting for him to do an attack. This is a game changer for Akkha. I'll show the IDs on the screen, but you can also find an image below as well. Just make sure to not have a normal NPC tile highlight on Akkha, because otherwise the radius marker will not show when it's set to 0. Lastly, monster HP percentage works nicely here for Akkha, just to know when he's about to phase, since he phases every 20% HP. Up next, the Path of Krondus. You can object mark the waterfalls when they are full and leave the empty ones unmarked just to make it less likely to run to an empty water spot. You can also swap the watering can to left click use, as left click use on the waterfall and tree makes you complete those interactions a whole tick faster. Although in teams, using it on waterfalls seems to cause a bit of pit fuckery in teams, but I also need to do some testing just to confirm that. You can always use it on the tree without cucking your teammates though. Tile markers can be nice here in case there's specific pathing for particular spots as well. For the Zebak encounter, you can NPC indicate the waves if you think that'll make it easier to line yourself up with the waves. You can also indicate the boulders too for visibility reasons. You can tile mark the range of where you would get dragged based on your weapon or your final tile to attack the boss. It's up to you based on your preference. You can menu swap or custom swap the pot, so if you hold shift, you can pull it or hit a pot. You can also radius mark the pot to know what you clear when you break a pot. Now, for the Path of Apmeken. For designated DD spots for corruption, you can tile mark those areas, but this all depends on your team's habits. With a combination of NPC Indicator, Radius Marker, and Better NPC Indicator, you can do a lot of different things to color code the monkeys. I, for example, have a yellow Radius Marker for exploding baboons, having it with a radius of 1 to know where to not stand when letting them blow up. Then, I have the Shaman and Cursed ones marked in different colors, as I've got one in NPC Indicator, and another in a better NPC Indicator list. However, to make it simple, you can color code all the monkeys for the Radius Marker plugin. Now for Baba, for the sadistic Mind the Gap users, you can mark the lines of where you want to stand to not die whenever he procs. And, if for whatever reason you have bananas turned on, you can object mark them. However, like Zarpus, you need to object mark all of the bananas before you have a full array of banana highlights at your disposal.
What's up, there's bananas.
Blood Muslim said.
Nice! Fucking bananas!
This guy probably wishes he had that. Now, you can NPC indicate all the boulders if it makes it easier to know if you're about to get run over. However, the boulder you want to hit has a different ID than the other boulders. So if you have boulders indicated, you can use the ID to throw it in the better NPC Indicator plugin and have it colored differently or highlighted differently. You can also set a custom swap to left click boulders instead of Big Baba herself in the situation Baba runs at you when you're still trying to pop a boulder. Really niche case scenario, but the option is there. And lastly, the Monster HP plugin is super nice to know when the boss is about to phase, as it phases at around 66% and 33%. So when the boss approaches those health thresholds, you just need to make sure to stand in spots that won't lead to death, assuming Mind the Gap. Lastly, we got the Path of Scabaras. The plugin TOA Puzzle Solver has a widget in your sidebar that brings up images that help you with quick solving the pressure plate puzzle and the number puzzle. As for the final puzzle, there's a super cheat code you can use where the symbols are color coded to their corresponding symbol. The pastebin for this will be in the description. However, to import the object markers over, you will need to do the following. Make sure to have a backup of your settings.properties file before attempting this in case something goes wrong. Firstly, make sure your client is closed before doing this. Secondly, locate your .runelight folder. Third, open your settings.properties file. Fourth, paste the pastebin text at the bottom of the file. Then, hit save, and you're done. After changing the local file, go to the info widget in your RuneLight, the one with the big I, then hit import offline settings. You'll need to make sure you have remember color per object within the object markers plugin turned on to have it work, so keep that in mind. Meanwhile, for the final room, the only useful thing that I can think of is NPC indicating the scares that come out of the wall. Now, we finished up with the paths and the bosses. Now let's talk about the final boss. You can tile indicate the spots to stand for the UFOs, and for the final area, you can mark spots to stand based on where he's attacking, as well as mark the tile in the back that gives you an extra tick that dodge a tile attack if you stand back there. You can also tile indicate the spots you want to stand for P3 skulls, whether it's for solos or for teams. You can also, again, use the monster HP percentage at P3 to see when he's going to phase as well. You can also highlight the skulls you can attack at P3 using the better NPC Indicator plugin and the respective ID. That's about it. I'll have the IDs and other useful information in the description below for easy reference. If you learned something in the video and enjoyed, please feel free to drop a like, and if you want to see more of my content, you can subscribe or even watch me live on my Twitch channel, where I'm regularly streaming expert TOA runs with the boys, usually in the late EST times. But, until next time guys, I will see you all later. Right now. Alright, so Rex, you want to do the intro?
Yeah, okay, what's the video about?
Let me show you, hold on. That's the video. Yeah, you gonna do the intro or what? Speak up! Speak up, bitch! Speak up!
Bro, what the fuck are you doing about?
Do the intro! Rexy!
Yo, welcome to my guide on Take room. I hope this helped.
Run past one, or like stand next to one for a second.
Jordan, don't forget to
What's up? Shane?
don't forget to wear your lucky rabbit foot necklace when you're doing your birdhouse runs, because at this rate you're gonna be a collection logger.
I didn't think they would hit you fucking twice. Oh my god. No way! They just fucking
Why
yanked
did they
the
hit
fuck
so
out
hard?
of you, dude.
What the fuck? It's so fucking hard. What the actual fuck?